Once Max confirms, we're good.
What's that big thing coming?
Yeah. Swing this one. Over here. That's on those. No. It says live up here. Lift it up.
Okay, we're here at Peehee Mu'huh.
Good morning, my relatives. Thank you for joining us this morning. We're at Peehee Mu'huh, Northern Nevada, what the Europeans call Thacker Pass. We are where an important ceremony is happening today. Today we are in peaceful prayer, and what you see our relatives doing here is putting up a teepee. It's very symbolic to the Paiute people and the Lakota people. This great place, this great home, and this great space where we're at today is to put up something that represents us, represents prayer, represents peace, represents who we are as Native people. You see our relatives doing their work right here as they're erecting this teepee.
Wait, one more?
The canvas, the skin comes from...
Alright, wait. So we have to put this one right here.
Okay.
Right there?
This the canvas comes from the east, from our Lakota people, and the poles here are from the Paiute Nation. So the Lakota Nation and the Paiute Nations coming together because, as you may know, our ancestors did that before. We're connected through the very sacred ceremony, the ghost dance. And so we're here today at Peehee Mu'huh, again, what Europeans call Thacker Pass. We're putting up our teepee and making a prayer here, a peaceful prayer to pray with our people. And we're putting it right where they've made a scar here at Peehee Mu'huh. They're putting in their water pipelines here. This is why we're putting it here, because we have water protectors here. We have land protectors. We're protecting our unmarked burial graves that are here at Peehee Mu'huh. That's why we're here this morning. And we're putting this teepee up right here in the line where they are putting the water pipe. As you can see, you see the pipeline, the pipes laid out. They already made a scar all along here on Peehee Mu'huh, and probably in the area of all those unmarked burials of our ancestors who were massacred here in 1865, the second massacre. And so we're putting this teepee up here as a symbol, but also as a peace prayer that we protect our waters, and that when BLM permitted this project, this water, we know that they lied about the water tables out here, and so that's why we're putting the teepee right here. This teepee is going to be for our prayers today and throughout, and however the ancestors lead us today. We're putting the teepee up, and then we're going to have our people come out and do our prayers. We're peacefully here today. We're in a peaceful prayer today, and we're making a mark and to let our ancestors know we're here, but also because how important this water is. To produce 1 ton of lithium, you need 500,000 gallons of water. And so that's a lot of water. We're the driest region in the nation, and they're here trying to steal and take away and pollute and destroy our waterways. We are connected here in the Great Basin through our waters. We have old maps that show the that show the connection of the water up here, because we used to be underwater here. The waters connect us all the way. We're all related, our Paiute and Shoshone people, and that's why we have people come in here today to do this peaceful prayer with us, and that's why we're putting up this teepee for that.
You guys want a third person, or are you good?
I think we're good for the moment.
I'm gonna pull up here.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Go straight for these guys. All right, watch your head. All right, stop. Go back a little bit, like a couple feet. A little bit more. Right, that's good.
Grab what?
Hold on. Take a look.
This one here?
We're gonna slide this one right here in between that bigger space. Do you see it? Yeah. All right.
Can I go in?
Okay. All right. Now you should pull. Yeah, wherever you gotta be. Wherever you gotta be.
Yeah.
We're good.
All right, let's let Chase do a.
It's all good. No, it's okay.
Wrap. Yeah. I think we're good. So. We can just settle down. Yeah. So you put it down. I just hold it. Hey, don't do that, Lord. Say prayers. What's that? What's that? Yeah.
So right there we see Sentinel Rock. Ceremonial site, massacre site. This road wasn't here a month ago. They plowed it right through. This whole road, this whole scar has been put in for this pipe that will suck water out of the valley below Sentinel Rock into this water table and suck an amazing amount of water out of this valley.
Yeah, I'll leave it out. We're missing one. You want to bring that in, and then probably walk it in through this east door.
Through the door or through the, yeah.
Yeah, bring it in through here, and I guess just wrap it.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's gonna film it. We're on live. Yeah. Okay. She's gonna nanish it. Okay.
In that bigger gap.
Because we're gonna show the world. We come here to pray. We've been coming here and praying.
Tinanish yo tipitin na tinanish tehin.
Just bring it straight up. This way. Which way?
Left. Let's go through that gap right there.
Yeah, just drop it in.
Yeah, that's good.
Nice and easy.
We might be good to go on that. Yeah, there you go. Let loose on the floor. Let's take this rope. There we go.
Le mida vetena kabu hosne yang kasuttu hai me ya me ona ko yaune ya ne piare puguba ni nana wa ni nana mo te pona puguba to na sunna hache ya to Thacker Pass me ya ne kamada ni na mo te pona me ya to na sutsa me ko si na va de podu si na sutsa me ko si mo uito ya madai bo no ya yo utte de mata bo ikan ne piade pu ya to sonna ha che go nya asa ke we ibi yo to kaba ma to go sa ha be ko me ane ya ka ma ya yo to de mata bo ai ko ma yo go pa na sonna ha che go pa na ne piade pu ni na mo pu ko che na sonna ha che go na Justina pu ko sonna vi da bo ko pone na ni ya ka so te hai ni ya ka so te hai sin ni ya ka be chia Jos kuat nazat cuy ko. Biar me oni ayah nonariu mana kuja nana ke nana tak masuk api dia ya ni dia mazai punya nana emotat. Ni dia mazai itu siau nene.
Represents us trespassing.
One isn't as bad as the other one.
Okay.
Four-wheeling again.
Where's your four-wheeler?
See? So we were doing this last time.
Winter hat, Dean. Ni piade pugo ba ko so ni momo ko na ni so tu hai me o ni ana o me ona ko kai ni ya ka so tu a che pana on ni so tu hai mo ni piade pu ya to kai bisan ne go na so tsa me ko na yo u wito mo dai bo yo ni ma ze ni da ma ze ko te me o ni ya na me go va yo vicha se yo che si ya so pipes na naza ata ko te yo Yuniku matuku sahabiku komeke ya akia ba buhaba ya chutu ya ibi sahabiku komeke omo onea umutu mabitsa bitabu wana na yoche si yosho ne wana bia o we kadu ho muta kone kome onea mo yo kadu ho so ne wana osko si o manipon kaini chutu ache pana yeshika ya akadaibo ia ane pa ana ko modai bo manipon mo che sho mo de damatu ko te me so kwa mo na ye umu ya you te wata bo e kas ko ye sho mo u ne sho te na ka pa na so ko na za chu e ko me she oni na me ona ko o une ko ye she ne me ni ko ya ne me e wa ne ya na me manipon ni ana na ko ma so api ya na ata ma so api ya ya ni de was a bit ya de pekat no de was no de was ne ya kap ni de was ni de was a bit ko te me na mana te was a tinga na ne me ya mana te was a tinga ko se ye me ya yu mana ko ne ya ka so te ha ye shi utina te pave ni pe re pe ko ba ko so ne mama ko na ne so te ha ya kia buha go na amavio no vi kia ku de was o ko de was o sa yo mo ja ko vi ke de was o mo ne ya ka sko mo ma uche wi pana me si ya de na o me ona ko utina te pave ne buha ya e kia kwasi uma to mea de uma no te ima mane ya kuida ko si e si ne so te ha ka sko mo ma uche wi pana ka buha go na o no vi ma sama pana kai opo no vi amoda na bono ma na we ibi de waso mogi de waso hi ibi na wa we de bio putu yo na de waso ya ke adi pona de waso sia de waso ka na te so de waso hi haune ko na na te so na yo so me na de waso unde yo de waso ibi so ma bi de waso si do sha bo de waso ma bi so de wo ibi ga ko ya ko ibi ibi kai ba ma bio pida ko na ma bio so to sha bo de waso so de wo i ha ma on so ko ha wona e na ma bi to na me on ne akoyo ko ne na ma bio so ye si de waso so de waso ka o i mama mane pone ye si utina ne so de ho ne ya ka so de ho so so ko na za chu e ka ha ni ko so na za chu e kai he mana na wa ti a na me ko ka te ko ta wa ko
trouble for using that thing. You always spin that pallet. You so breaking that pallet. One of the Eamsters.
For those of you who are just joining this live stream, we're here at Peehee Mu'huh in Nevada. They call Thacker Pass. One of the largest lithium deposits in the United States. In the driest state in America. And I'm walking towards the pipeline. They've just built this road right here. You can see in the distance, if I zoom in, this hill here, this sacred spot, this Sentinel Rock. This whole area was ceremonial. This is where medicines are gathered. This is where animals and plants thrive in this area. And this is also hallowed ground, the site of 2 massacres that the the BLM ignored and kept out of the court proceedings, was not part of the NEPA analysis. The approval was given 4 days before Trump got out of office in a 9-month rush NEPA that went through during COVID. And here we are. I'm just going up to show you these pipes. We were up in ceremony at that hill 2 months ago. There was no road there. There was no scar there. There was no trashing there. They're laying out these pipes to draw all the water out of the valley to go up to the mine that will be kind of disappears. You see a road that's cut over there. It's hard to see, but it drops down before those hills. And it's a mine that's going to be 40 stories deep, a mile across, 2 miles across. So this site today for ceremony, this teepee going up, these poles from this valley here, and this skin coming from the Dakotas, is part of saying this is everyone's land. This is our land, this is our water, this is not owned by extraction companies that continue to ignore water, continue to ignore the cost of their extraction and their mining. Lithium, the new gold, is not going to save us. Green cars, we're not driving our way into the climate crisis and solving it with electric cars. The industries that go into producing this, you'll hear later on this webcast, offer no change. It's the same industries, it's the same extraction. Tens, hundreds of thousands of gallons of diesel used almost every day. Water, upwards to 500,000 gallons, depending on the process they use, per ton that they process. The copper, the cobalt, the Today's about a prayer, a strong prayer for the land and the water and the people. Share this out.
If you can, try and close the canvas.
Please share out the stream.
Oh shoot. Get to squeeze it together and not push it up.
Oh, yeah.
Ya among a chisin is to came up with my sure ma be yo me yo eva puquenage queen manake she there was a pishaso mosher me kuna there was almost to high Missy on a cobi nanahano mama manepon nisho to high she missy on a coquena one of yatona mayodas as mosote high bishahima makamba mama tapai kuna mosote high missy on a kuya among bishahima ne mama tabuik kutina tipabe hano in a metana caponid Bisha is in this to high, Bishanisha Quamos to high, Bishana not the so honey, the nation to high, and one of big over to Yadua Medoma, be Bishamos to her, no, so Bishamos Muso Quamos to high on the woman and make over to one up Yadua Meacobona. Dinner was so young and maybe I wanted to once I did one of his giving milk on Nina what to put on a coya to be shenable. The perry put a question if Pasocona Napuni Mercon and short to high. Be on it. Unico so my and Nina what to put out only in so my and Asia among Koyado. Was it be Ramonado? There was, you know, you get a doctor hunting that there was a, you know, not use me could not do was a. Oh, yes, it would not be the. Be husky, Mogas. Mama, what do I?
Yeah, this one right here. It's been a bit ashes on me, honey.
Don't engage. Don't talk to him. Just you nation to her, ya, Mama. Ya, Bubama picture. Bubama picture check, but ya, Mama, just she must up to her.
Chuck, go get these guys.
did a minute ago. It's good.
So the worker that just came up could not pass through at this point. With the ceremony that's going on, this road is now blocked. This is a prayer ceremony today for the water and the land. We're here at Peehee Mu'huh, which is Thacker Pass. We came in about a half hour ago, and this teepee's gone up. It's going to be used for prayer.
They don't really go.
Okay.
Oh, that's because they're tied together back there. You gotta let one side go. Which, what happens?
Yeah, they were trying to start this up.
So we asked today, we got about a 10-15 second lag, but sit with us, share this out, watch these live streams. There'll be more than one or two today. Pray with us, think about what life is for and how change needs to come. We need real change for the water and the land and the people.
Chase, if you can, push it straight back.
We dance for the water and the land and the people. We do ceremony for the water and the land and the people. And the mamakashka, the animals, the plants.
There you go. Oh. No. You want to push it in there and then push it past it. So get underneath it. Oh. Now push it past it. There you go. Now bring it to the side. Maybe.
I'll go get some. Well, Max is out there running around getting stuff.
You want me to move somewhere else?
You're on. It's up to you. You're on public road right there. So, we all moved down there.
And that's not public road down there?
Where?
Where you guys are at?
It's public road. This whole road right here is public road.
Oh, what are you saying?
So you're legal to park in there.
Oh, I am?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dean, you heard the prayers here. Do you want to tell us a little bit about why we're here today?
First of all, it's a massacre site. BLM pushed all this through during the COVID pandemic. So our tribe, Pyramid Lake, we kind of heard about it, but they never did come down and consult with us about what was going on up here. So BLM pushed it through during COVID, and that was wrong, totally wrong right there. But, we're still here trying to defend the sacred because our ancestors gave their lives here. So we have to stand up and because we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for our ancestors.
Oh, you guys ripped it. Rip?
So that's about all for now.
Hmm.
What was I? Because we were all... Yes, good morning. Good morning, my relatives who are watching. We're coming to you live from Peehee Mu'huh, Northern Nevada, where the Paiute Shoshone people have an inherent right to be here today in peaceful prayer, to pray for our lands and pray with our ancestors who are up here in their unmarked burial grounds. Today, we come in peaceful prayer. We also come because this is our First Amendment right. According to the United States Constitution, we have a right to be here under our spirituality, under our religion. That's who we are as Paiute and Shoshone people. We're in America, right? So we as the first indigenous people, we have a right to be here, to gather, to be here with our relatives in a peaceful prayer. You just heard and just saw the prayer. We put those prayers out on live stream because the world needs to know that we come here to pray. We've been coming here to pray, and we're here in peaceful prayer. And we do have a right to be here, our own inherent right to be here amongst each other, to have peaceful prayer, to pray for our lands, to pray for this water. As you see, our relatives here erected this teepee in collaboration with us here. If you heard me this morning, we have the canvas came from the Lakota people, and the poles are from the Paiute people. So the Paiute Nation and the Lakota Nation coming together because we have that connection, and that we're going to be here in a good way today to have our peaceful prayer with one another and to pray for the land, to pray for they're having fun over there. That's okay. We're all here in goodwill and good prayers and good peace. And so we thank you for joining us. We're going to be here today, and only the ancestors and Creator and these beautiful animals that you hear in the background will give us all the signs of what we need. I want to, throughout the day, we're going to talk about several things, and more so that the Paiute, Timbisha, Shoshone from Death Valley, California, and so my father's people are that Pyramid Lake Paiute, and we're here as Paiute and Shoshone people with our from all over the four directions came here to be with us today in this peaceful prayer. We are here because our relative here is on death row. I've been saying that, and that's what's happening here. And our relative was put on death row here illegally, and that's why we're here today. And we'll always continue to come here and pray. This is our prayerful place. And wouldn't you fight hard for your relative if they were put on death row and getting ready for execution, and they were put on death row illegally? Well, that is what happened is here. And throughout the day, we're going to talk about all the federal laws that have been broken to put this so-called lithium mine here, to create so-called wealth for a few, and telling the American people that electric vehicles are going to save us. And this is one of the last habitats for the sage grouse, and we're supposed to be protecting and listing the sage grouse on the Endangered Species Act, but this is one of the last habitats, old ancient habitats. So there's a problem here. A lot of laws were violated according by the BLM Winnemucca, and so we're going to talk about that throughout the day. So please stay tuned as we continue. Yes.
Can I ask you just to briefly talk, because this is at the end of almost 2 years and longer of litigation.
Yes.
This is the result of dysfunctional litigation.
Yes,
can you tell us?
Exactly. So, we'll just kind of go into it. So, Lithium and BLM claims that they've been consulting with tribes. We have to remember there are 28 tribes and bands in the state of Nevada, but we didn't have those lines, boundaries, and fences, and believing that we were all dynamic and all over. And so we don't forget about our Great Basin relatives and how we're all one people, and we've been separated and colonized. And so we think, what's that tribe doing over there, even though they're 4 hours away? And why isn't the closest tribe doing this? Well, that's colonized thinking, colonized minds. And we've got to come together, because we have a lot going on out here in the Great Basin and in Nevada. So in 2020, when we're on lockdown and the pandemic is hitting hard, BLM Winnemucca starts to do their NEPA process, and NEPA is the National Environmental Policy Act. NEPA is a federal law. All federal agencies must follow it. What that does is it assesses the environment. So they do all kinds of studies. But who does those? BLM sanctions those studies, but it's the federal project proponent, or it's the project proponents who pay for the consultants to do those studies. So you'll study the biology, the wildlife, the cultural resources, Native American, you'll study the water, they'll do all these studies. So during that time, when they're doing their studies, even before 2020, they open up the scoping process, and they also open up public comment, and they say they're consulting with the 3 closest tribes to this area, and those sovereign nations were Winnemucca Indian Colony and Summit Lake Paiute Tribe and the Fort McDermitt Paiute Tribe, and BLM made that decision to only consult with the 3 closest. Now, the federal agencies and the federal government, they don't have the same cultural connections that all our people have to this area, and so during that process also kicks in another federal law, the National Historic Preservation Act. That law requires that you assess the historic properties, and those historic properties are cultural resources, Native American cultural resources, but also you're assessing the objects, buildings, and also the Native American cultural resources, and archaeologists are doing their cultural resource inventories out here. And so back to NEPA, the National Environmental Policy Act, while they're doing their studies, a local rancher who's living close by to this area, he knows his land, he knows his water, and he's reading these studies through the Environmental Impact Statement, which is a product of NEPA, National Environmental Policy Act. So they're doing an environmental impact statement. And as he starts to read those documents, he realizes that they have the water tables wrong, and they did go on his land illegally to get those water tables, and they went during the wrong time, and he felt like that was being very suspicious, because he knows the water tables, and he felt like those were false water table readings. So he took it upon himself, as all the tribes, and in 2020, remember, we're all in the pandemic, and we're on lockdown, and Native people were getting hit hard by the pandemic, and so they on January 2021, the record of decision was signed, and all those permits and the permits and rocks I'm sorry, the permits and the record of decision, they're signed in January 2021, right before Trump administration left and right as the Biden administration was coming in.
Keep talking.
Okay, and so, well, that was happening. People, a protest camp was set up here, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. And I do want to talk about, so Mr. Ed Bartel, a local rancher, he filed a lawsuit against a Bureau of Land Management, and because this is Lithium Nevada Corporation's project, they did a motion to intervene, and they're accepted, and so now Ed Bartel is versus. Okay, go ahead. You go get that.
The first civilization here. We're not. Far greater civilizations have come to this earth and left. Far greater than us. It's a sad state, but I'm homeless. Literally. Yeah. Last night I decided I would sleep in a motel. But normally, you'll catch me sleeping in Arvada in my truck just for the dollar. But without it, I'm destitute. I'll be eating my horse. Seriously. Now, I'm not from a big city. Coming here to make fat cat, you know. In fact, last year I lived at Kings River.
Working on ranch. I'm going to pass you off to Paul here just because I have some other stuff to do, but Paul is going to continue the conversation.
Well, I got to get to work. You guys gonna let me do it? It's up to you. I don't care. I mean, we're going to go around another gate.
I think we'll ask you to do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just because my guess is that the elders are going to say no. But I mean, I can check with them if you like.
One thing about the native people is they were the first victims. And after that, we've all become victimized.
Yeah.
Everyone.
It's just a giant corporate state at this point.
Yes.
Yeah. Corporations are running everything.
Is it?
So that's a man who's basically saying he's relatively homeless, and he's coming here to work and has a job here, but he totally understands what's going on and what's happened to Native people as the first victims, and he just said we're all victims now. Oh, so he's gonna have to turn around.
Alright, let's go support these women over here. Okay. It was good.
Yes?
It doesn't seem as long, you know? Yeah, it seems quicker. Yeah, and it doesn't, like I'm in the
That was good. It all worked out.
You guys need the pegs, Chase?
Yeah, a couple, huh? Maybe we should stay down.
Yeah, there's some in the back of the expedition. The bucket.
Joe! Hi, Joe.
Hi.
Hi,
How's it
honey.
going? I'm E.
What is it?
E.
E.
Pleasure. I was like, I don't want to get up. Pleasure.
Thank you.
I used to get
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You know, I didn't notice the birds. They were quiet, but then once we started getting active, they started waking up.
Yeah.
More, chirping more.
Okay.
He didn't haul anything in.
Yeah, he brought in a fuel truck.
Oh.
He is a local who just made a delivery. He has another delivery that he's...
Let's talk to Max, and I'm cool with just cutting him loose. You know,
I think we should let him go.
Okay.
It's a good look, you know?
We should talk to the elders first. Yes, absolutely.
So this is a local trucker who made a delivery this morning. The fuel thing, he's got another delivery to do. He's not here today working. They're asking if he can be let through. Need to set up a weigh station to eat. So they're checking now with the elders here now that teepee set up, and
Thank you.
the decision as to whether they're going to let them through. They're going to have to drive around. They would have to drive way back.
What we should do, and they feel really strongly we should let him through. He's just a local person making a delivery. He's not here with the company.
Okay.
So that's what they would like us to do.
All right.
Okay. Just delivered a fuel truck, he said, to the site. And it's just such an interesting position that we're placed in. Right? I just feel like
the gentleman before was going to work.
To work here.
And is relatively homeless.
He's relatively homeless. He can't stand the society that we're living in. He can't stand the greed. I just think, you know, I mean, this is just, it's all so complicated, isn't it? I mean, everybody is in such a compromised and complicated position in this corporate world that we now live in where, you know, human beings have almost no agency over their own lives anymore. And here we are, just a tiny group of people trying to stop this horror.
So right here we're looking where the water pipeline will continue. It will come through here. Come through here and continue right up this swath. Right up this swath here. It'll go a distance and it will cut to the right. And it'll cut over this way. And in the valley over there. But you can't see it. Drops off where it goes before the green. Where the light colored grass touches the green, there's a large valley in between there, and that's where the side of the mine is. And if you can see way in the distance there, this is where camp was 2 years ago, a year ago, where the camp was set up, was way the Protect Thacker Pass camp overlooking the valley. So the first infrastructure they're putting in is the water and the roads. What I've been told is that in June the number of workers will increase by tenfold into the hundreds, 500. And then they start blasting and go 40 stories deep and a mile or two across, extracting lithium. So as they still prepare the teepee, they're staking it down now. They've got it set up. So while they're doing this, I'm going to tell you what I've learned about this area as a massacre site, and someone may tell you later, but it may be on a later podcast. This, I think, unique. Did research. By the way, my name's Chuck Banner. I work with. We're here live streaming to the Thacker Pass, Protect Thacker Pass website, Facebook, Lakota People's Law Project, Red Road TV, Facebook, Indigenous Peoples Movement, Last Real Indians. The stories I've heard and have done some research on is this is one of the only sites where there's been an Indian massacre and a cavalry massacre. Indian on Indian is how, with the Pit River, haven't done the full research, but as the U.S. moved through, as the cavalry came through and settlers and gold rushers came into California and Oregon, they passed through this area and they flooded into California. And they took over California and they destroyed the homelands and the foods and took the lands of the Pit River Indians, and they started pushing them east, colliding here with the Paiute Shoshone. And skirmishes and fights over food and land as it was all taken in California. And there could have been, longer, older rivalries. But there was a massacre here of the Paiute people, right here in this valley, and particularly what you see is the marker, which they call Sentinel Rock. This is a sacred area, and this is where they could see all of the valley below, and they could, pardon me, they held ceremonies here and gathered food. So while the village was here, and hunters were out hunting on the other side of the valley, they came in and the Pit River people came in and massacred the people of this valley, the women and children, and they cut them open and spread their intestines throughout the sagebrush. And you can see it's kind of this, you can't see it really with the thing, but it's the shape of a moon. It's kind of a crescent here where it goes through the pass. And so this was called Stinking Moon because of the smell in the valley from the massacre. And so it's called Peehee Mu'huh. Peehee Mu'huh. And it's had that name. And it had that name when then in 1864 or 65, the U.S. cavalry came in. And on the other side of Sentinel Rock here, down in the valley across there's a river in the valley, the cavalry set up and came in and again massacred people, 30 to 60, 70, they're not sure. So basically there's 2 massacres that have been on this site. 2 massacres of the Paiute Shoshone people. During the lawsuit, the BLM ignored that. They hid the paperwork. They said they were making it up, that this wasn't sacred land in the lawsuit. And in the lawsuit it was uncovered that they had their own internal documentation that they knew. They knew that this was a massacre site. They knew that this was sacred ground. They knew that what they said, that this was, they're just making up that this was sacred, that that's not true. And they admitted it a month ago or 2 months ago and said, well, you might be right. This is sacred. But it's over there where the acreage is. It's not right here. It's kind of, there are remains strewn all over this valley. The people had never been buried. I'm sure when they dug up this road, they dug up remains and just pushed them out of the way. And there's a letter in the lawsuit from the director, I believe, of Sand Creek, the National Monument or Park. I'm not sure if it's a park. I think parks are Indian things. The Custer's, the Bighorn is a monument, but I think the parks. But Sand Creek, the site there, said that this was a massacre site, and this was a sacred site, much in line with Sand Creek. I venture to say that it's perhaps more than that because of the dual massacres that went on here. And the BLM covered it up. They ignore it. And I'm trying to remember who's in charge of the PLM. Oh, I think it's the Department of the Interior. I think this kind of falls under Deb Haaland's purview, as they say. But it's a long way to D.C. This site should be a national monument. It's the one they can get the most money out of. But you know, you could stop this construction and it'd be a great part of a national monument, how actually somebody made a decision to do the right thing and stop this construction in the middle. I don't think we have to worry about Lithium Nevada or Lithium America or Lithium Canada or Lithium whatever going broke. This is sacred ground. This was sacred ground before the massacres, way before and after. It's what we do with it. Determines our sacredness. So that's what I know of the massacre site, which has been ignored in the lawsuit, which is critical information for a NEPA process. The NEPA process took 9 months. Should have been 3 years. It was rushed through in COVID, and it was signed in Trump's last 4 days in office. He said, go for it. And the Biden administration has, what did they do? They created somewhere way down there south. They created some national monument in Nevada. Meanwhile, they haven't come up here. They haven't seen it. They don't want to come up here. Because this is atrocious. So I think what we'll do is probably stop this live stream a little bit, and we'll come back at you. Share this out. Let people know. Keep watching. We'll come back to you.
They probably thought if we were coming back, we were going to go over there.
Look for us within the hour.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Mini Wachoni.